And they can talk about green energy until they're blue in the face. The reality is, in the short term, the world is heavily reliant on fossil fuels. We still have, population explosions going on in many of the poorer parts of the world. So, yeah, coal mining stocks are a really interesting one.
Hello and welcome to This Week in Review with Nigel Farage. Nigel, I want to ask you a very simple question, but it has a lot of backstory to it. The question is, are coal mining stocks the best way to profit from the green energy boom? And while I give you a second to think about your answer, I'm going to give some of the backstory. We've had a lot of action in coal markets recently. We've had a German power station that actually completely ran out of coal. China gave up on its boycott of the Australian coal that had been sitting at the ports. Had been refused entry because of some of the Wuhan virus issues. The coal prices obviously spiked. The UK's turned back to some coal burning energy. And most interesting of all for me personally is that the Australian Resources Minister a few hours ago, as of this recording, actually proposed a lending facility, a government bank, to try and help coal miners because the bankers and the investors were not lending to the coal industry anymore. All of this has led to a very intriguing and interesting investment opportunity as I see it. But Nigel, what do you think?
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it? Because you see coal stocks like tobacco stocks and other companies, it's all so out of favor because everyone wants to be an ethical investor, whatever that's supposed to mean. So they've been very, very neglected. And we're told by everybody that the age of coal is over. It's finished. It's gone. It's done. It's history. We're all going to live off wind turbines. God help us. And the truth of it is that annual consumption of coal is going up. Yep, that's right. It's going up. Mostly, to be fair, because of China, but it is going up. And even in this country, we're still using a fair tonnage of coal every year. It's just that we import it all rather than mining it ourselves. So what I'm certain of, Nick, is that for the next 5-10 years, coal is not going away. Natural gas is not going away. And they can talk about green energy until they're blue in the face. The reality is, in the short term, the world is heavily reliant on fossil fuels. We still have, population explosions going on in many of the poorer parts of the world. So, yeah, coal mining stocks are a really interesting one. It certainly would be counter the current fashion, but then fashions are nearly, in the end, always prove to be wrong.
What makes it interesting to me is the idea that the green energy boom has some downsides and some issues. And the world needs this reliable source of energy. And if batteries were up and running, or if the sun always shined, or if the wind always blew, then this wouldn't be a problem. But because we've neglected coal, and because the green energy boom is not quite functioning as it's supposed to just yet, because the technology just isn't quite there just yet, or the investment isn't, that's what creates the opportunity. And I think it's a good lesson in investing that just because something's booming doesn't mean investors make a good return out of it. Sometimes there's a bottleneck, and that is the better place to go. And it seems like gas and coal stocks are the interesting ones there.
I mean, Nick, that's right, isn't it? I mean, the great railway boom that took place in this country in the mid-19th century, railways boomed. They completely changed the country. Yet most investors in railway stocks did their conkers. Similarly, with the massive growth of the internet around the turn of the century, completely revolutionized the way that we live. Most investors in the dot-com bubble lost a lot of money. So you're absolutely right. And funny enough, you actually look at some of these really big tech companies whose names have become part of our daily life, and you look at the profits they're making, a lot of them aren't really making any money at all. So you're absolutely right. Coal would be, as I say, a very much a counter fashion type of investment, but as a commodity in terms of usage, it ain't going away soon.